What is the willingness of the Europeans to negotiate with a figure like Boris Johnson on a new deal before this October deadline?
I think extremely low. Patience in the rest of the EU is wearing very, very thin, and we have to remember, just in the same way in the UK, that emotion has really trumped emotion has trumped economic logic in this debate. The same is starting to be true in the rest of the EU as well. I mean, the EU is pretty good at holding its rationality together, but a lot of people are just sick of Brexit, and they are also sick of Boris Johnson, who a lot of people in Brussels do place at the centre of blame for the whole process and the debacle that has been Brexit so far, with the role that he's played in giving lines and pushing narratives about the EU that he personally knows are incorrect. But we've seen in that speech just then, Boris Johnson is a great salesman, and he'll be able to kind of make the country feel optimistic for a few weeks. And the question is what he does with that. And my fear is that he just does not use his popularity to do anything different. The opportunity he's got is to take this moment of being popular, having the press behind him, being a new face, being able to convince people of things, and take that to guide the country, the UK, towards a feasible deal that the EU will accept. But my fear is that he's backed himself into too much of a corner, and he'll stick with his hard Brexit rhetoric, and I don't think there's much mood in Europe to offer any significant more compromises. Something cosmetic to allow him to claim he's made some progress and can then go and sell Theresa May's revised deal domestically. I think that is a possibility. Whether that would be enough for Johnson, I am less sure.
Yeah, exactly. And analysts have pointed out that he's also quite the egoist. And do you think he actually has a mandate to lead the country? He's certainly won the Conservative Party vote, but what about when it comes to winning the hearts and minds of people across the UK? For example, if he were to take the country to an election before the Brexit vote, do you think that he could be confident in being able to secure a majority, or would he face a similar challenge that Theresa May had?
I mean, I do think that Boris Johnson is clearly a legitimate Prime Minister in that, you know, the UK has a parliamentary system. People elect MPs, and those MPs have delegated authority to make decisions on things, such as who is the Prime Minister. But those MPs also have the authority to make decisions on things like what kind of Brexit should we have. And so, in a sense, in Boris Johnson's legitimacy, also therein lies the risk that he faces around Brexit, with there still being a pretty clear majority in the UK Parliament against no deal. So that impasse is why I think an election is quite likely. What would happen in that next election? Right now, it is just extremely uncertain. The UK has a first-past-the-post electoral system, which means that whichever party gets the most number of votes, regardless of preferences, will win the seat, and then the most seats obviously wins the entire election. In the UK at the moment, we have 4 parties on around 20%. And so, you have 4 parties basically on the same vote. Whichever one gets 1 or 2% more will win. So you could feasibly win the election on 22, 23, 24% of the vote. What Johnson will be trying to do is to squash down the Brexit party, get those votes back in with the Conservatives, hope that the left stays split between Labor and the Liberal Democrats, and that would put the Conservatives in a good position to get a majority in the next election.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now, to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.